this part 2 of whatever deck you had, Spatial Manipulation. Quirk left off at the sides of his hair, which is a weird spot to leave off, but yeah. So they continue class. Leo pops up out of Deku's notebook, and they start having a conversation in their heads through telepathy. That is not a part of Deku's quirk, that is Leo's quirk. Well, not Leo's quirk, one of Leo Lex's abilities. And Deku asks Lex what else he can do, and he says, well, when you unlock my main can turn into a shield, being able to block almost 100% of all mates Detroit Smash, but it can only really block 30%. So Deku's like, okay, anything else? And he says, well, not really, because I can. Oh, and he says, well, when you unlock my body, I can run 10 times faster. And Deku's like, okay. And then Deku's like, what about your tail? And he says, my tail really doesn't do nothing. It just makes me be able to be more stable when I'm running. So he ends up running home on Leo, and that was the last day of him being in 5th grade. So now he's in basically the start of what grade he was in, start of anime. I don't know what grade that was, but yeah. So he went home and Bakugo ended up going to visit. Fuck, my phone. Dropped my phone. Oops. Bakugo goes over to visit to talk to Deku about what is he going to go to UA, and if he does, he just out his way and basically just talk to him and try to be somewhat of his friend. So he goes, knocks on the door. Inko opens the door, and she says, I don't like Deku's home right now, but you can go check. Deku is in his room, destroying in his notebook, finishing up his schoolwork, which really only takes him 10 seconds. No, only really takes a minutes. And then by the time that he's done with his schoolwork, Bakugo already opens the door, and Deku was about to, I would say, do some business. Yeah, business. If you don't know what I mean, that's good for you. Probably good for me because I accidentally pictured that. But I'm just gonna keep going. Yeah, Bakugo walks in as Deku's about to beat the can. I'll say, yeah, to just be more specific, Deku's about to beat the can, and Bakugo walks in, and he just, he hears fumbling with the door, so he thinks it's Inko. So he hurries up, slows on time, puts everything away, and he puts time back at its regular spot. That's the first time he ever slowed down time. So his back and his arms and his legs hurt really bad. He can move, but it's super hard to move. Bakugo walks in and asks him what's wrong with his arms, and why isn't he moving? And Deku just says, oh, it's nothing, my arms hurt. In his head, he's like, oh, it was just him, god damn it. And Bakugo so what are you doing? And he makes up an excuse to say he just got done finishing his homework, and then he asks Bakuro what is he doing here, and Bakuro says, I just wanted to talk about you and I going to UA, and I wanted to know if you are going. Bakuro says, yeah, he's going, and then Bakuro makes a kind of joke saying, oh, just make sure you stay out of my way, Starfire. And then he says, Bakuro, and Deku says, I will cut Sean, but just make sure you stay out of mine, because I'm going to get first place. And he goes, Bakuro goes home after eating dinner with them. It's night time, and when it's night time, Deku puts on his vigilante suit, puts on the mask, and uses the portal, and jumps out the, no, yeah, he uses the portal, and teleports onto the roof, and he just starts jumping from roof to roof. Now, the reason he's so good at this already, because he's been doing it since he was 4, and his vigilante name is White Fox, because he has a white mask. And he really doesn't use his quirk that much, so he does, but it's just hard to tell when he's using it. Okay, so I think I said he has Endeavor's Flames, he has teleports, on time, speed up time, stop time. I'm pretty sure responsibilities, I guess. If not, I will think on what I said. Oh, I said he can control the stars, and he uses fire innovation, and he can. Okay, yeah, okay. So he sees a girl about to get robbed, so he jumps down from the roof, and he summons Leo right below him, so Leo catches him, and Leo says to the robbers, you better stop. And the robbers are kind of scared, and they say, what is a lion going to do? And then Leo roars, not as loud as he can, but loud enough to push the robbers like flying back into the wall. So and then he helps up the girl, and the girl ends up being Momo. Yeah, Momo. So he says, what is your name, and do you need help getting home? Momo says, yeah, I'll take a ride. So Momo hops on the back of Lance, or Leo, I'm just gonna say Lance. I'm gonna try to say Lance, so if I say Leo, I say Leo. Yeah, she hops on the back of Lance, and when Lance is taking her home, they talk for a little bit. She says, my name is Momo, whatever her last name, whatever her first name, last name is. And she says, what is your quirk, it seems? And she says, is it a animal, like, control quirk? And he says, no, it is a casting manipulation quirk. She says, okay. And Deku asks what is your quirk, and she says, oh, my quirk is it's where I can create anything as long as I have 8. And he says, oh, okay, and by the time they're done talking about that, they take her home, and now Deku has to hurry up and get home, because it's about to be morning, and Inko's about to go in his room to wake him up. So he teleports back into his bed and throws off his vigilante costume, throws it under his bed, throws on his pajamas, and fake sleep. And as soon as he's done with that, Iko walks in his room and says it's time for school. And Deku's like, okay. And he teleports to the coffee shop and buys like 2 full cups of coffee because he stayed out too late. So he needed something to stay awake during class. And so that's what he does. And oh yeah, and I forgot to say he has unlocked Lance's feet. Not all of them, not like his full body, just his feet. So that's just almost as fast as he can get. So Lance is running, I'll say 1,160 per hour, but his full speed is 10,001,520. Okay. Let me see how long this video is. So if it's 10 minutes, it'll be ending off here. Yeah, I'll end off at Deku going to the last day of his school. And that's where I'm going to leave this off. The teacher says his little announcement. He walks home. And I'm going to stop it off right before he gets attacked by the sludge villain.